Hello, my name is Ilona. I'm going to make a short video about Australia. I'm just going to take a look at the shortages and I'm going to take a look at the government and the energy right now. Someone sent me an email and asked me about things that are going on. What are the energies? Is the government going to collapse? Now, I personally believe all governments are going to collapse. But when, I can't say. That's very difficult to say. Like I said, it has to do, I think, almost with a spiritual green light that needs to be given. Like the spiritual world is watching along as well. So this is a humongous war. There's so much going on. Things still need to be cleaned up, although I've read a few messages that it's really going really well. So they really are cleaning up a lot underneath everything. So I do believe we are in this end stage. So we are reaching the end of what is going on. Of course, after things will come out, we still have an enormous lot of things to do. So it's not like everything comes out, everybody's happy, and oh, we're exactly where we were before, we're going to be just fine. A lot of things need to be done. There will be a lot of confusion. A lot of people will not understand what has happened. We really need to step in our own powers and in our own authority, because we need to be there when well, people will need our help, so to speak, and we will need to rebuild everything. So it will take time. It's not like we're there yet, but we will go to this beautiful new future. And I do believe we are in the end stage of the dark hats or the black hats. We are really, how do you say this, getting rid of their influences. And once that has started, we can rebuild. And that's pretty much what we're waiting for here, to really get them all out. And it will take time. Also, the influences on us as people, on our psyche. A lot of things need to be healed. And of course, the children, they will need all the healing in the world, all the things that has happened to them. Things will need to come out, the truth will need to come out. But that's another story. I just want to take a look at Australia. I want to thank the person for sending me the mail. I actually already responded. I was going to do a video about that, and so I have to keep my word. I think it's very important, if you say that you're going to do something, that you're actually going to do it. So I'm going to take a look at the shortages first in Australia. They're going to be bad. What is going on? Let's see. This is the Page of Wands. This is the central card, the Seven of Pentacles. This is the Queen of Wands. This is the Ten of Wands. It's underneath, by the way, and this is the Future card. That is the Five of Pentacles. So in the future, it will probably seem like there will be shortages, there will be some shortage in supplies. But I do believe that things are looked after. This is kind of a white hat. Wands to me are like white hat cards. So I do believe, and especially also with the past, there's also the Queen of Wands, so there's influences there. So right now there's like this patience or this waiting period of what's really going to happen or not, and how bad it will be. I personally believe that the shortages are artificial. There is more than enough in the world. You can see container ships that need to wait before they can enter a harbor. I actually read about that. Gene Decode also mentioned, especially also in Los Angeles, by the way, that the container ships contain soldiers and they need to be checked, and that's why it also takes a lot of time. I also had this sense when all these ships were backing up, and I'm sure they're in other ports as well, that there's more going on than just the black hats trying to push up the food prices and making sure there are shortages, because that will fit with their climate agenda. I do believe there is some white hat action in that as well, that they are trying to clean up. There'll be things in the containers that need to be checked. Like, you know, the black hats are now at the end of their game. They really don't have a lot of power anymore, so they can really pull out some ugly, ugly things, and they need to be taken care of. And I believe that's what the white hats are doing. So that's part as well, together with the black hat agenda, that they are trying to mess up logistics and mess up things. So also in Australia, it's about, there has to be, I don't know, like a waiting period to really see the damage that has been done. I think that's everywhere in the world, sort of. It's also in the Netherlands and other parts in Europe, like, and the United States. How, what's going to happen the next couple of months? How big is this thing that's happening now? What's going to be the impact? So there has to be some patience. There's also a card of that there is fear. I'm sure that a lot of people are fearing as well. There's going to be a lot of shortages. They might be down. There might be like a feeling like, oh, this is going to be a horrible couple of months. And in the future in Australia, there is going to be how do you say, the shortages. So it's very important to prepare for that. Although I'm not sure how long it will last. Like I said, there is also this influence of whitehead. So I have a feeling that they're probably, when things are going to happen, that ultimately the military will help out as well with supplies. But it will feel like they're standing in the cold. So the people in Australia will feel like they don't have enough. They don't have enough food. It also depends on which area you're in, by the way. So I believe that the parts that are now very strict, and when there's a lot of things going on, they will be hit the hardest in this case of shortages. So just make sure you have something in the house. Just make sure you're prepared that things could look ugly. Although I do believe there is this influence of the whiteheads that worst case scenario, things will they will supply, at least with food and things like that. That's my feeling. The person also sent me about Ricardo Bosi, and he wanted to know about the government of Australia, because this man, who's also part of an Australian political party, actually made an announcement that by the end of October, everyone that's corrupt has to step up and has to, how do you say, that's, well, kind of step down and tell everyone that apparently they are part of the corruption, otherwise it will end for them. It's like an announcement to, you can now step up with this, you can now come out with this, and otherwise you're done. So that's interesting. I will put that on my Telegram channel, the announcement he made, but I'm going to take a look at the government. Where are they right now in Australia? This is the card above. That's the 8 of Swords. This is the central card, 7 of Swords. This is the Knight of Swords. Those are a lot of swords cards. This is the card underneath. That's the Page of Pentacles. And the future card for Australia is the 4 of Cups. I have a feeling that we're still not out there in Australia. Certain things are going to collapse. It's going to happen one way or another. But right now, they are really not taking up their responsibility. They really are trying to get away with everything. So this really feels like a black hat influence that is still very strong there, unfortunately, especially politically. So they really think they're going to get away with it. They think they're going to get all the swords and just going to get away and no one will notice, which is a little... how do you say that, a limited thought, but in a way they are limited. So I do have a feeling that a lot of the black hat influences are taken care of, and I'm talking about underneath the ground. So they are limited. So the black hats are losing control there, and that's a good sign that things are falling apart in that government, because if they don't have anything to back them up, they'll fall. They will fall. So to me, this is pretty much an imminent fall. I can't say when. It's like I said, there's a lot of things going on here, but their power is limited. They're trying to get away with it. It's not going to work. And there is like this new opportunity to start a new thing is going to start up. And it feels to me like the whiteheads are trying to create something new there. But for the future, so let's say the time ahead now, this is the 4 of Cups. So there's still a lot of disconnection going on. It probably may even get worse. It is going to collapse. That's my imminent feeling. Even in Australia and other countries as well, these governments are going to fall. But it will get tough for the people in Australia, especially with the shortages. So A lot of people will completely feel disconnected from themselves, disconnected from their soul, and a lot of politicians are completely disconnected. So I think it's going to get very, how do you say that? It's very chaotic politically in Australia. It's going to fall. I can't say when. Like I've said before, I'm not going to mention time because there's so many things going on. It has to do also with cleaning up under Australia. It needs to be cleaned. So yeah, just hold on. Things are going to be all right in Australia ultimately. We really need to have faith. We really need to trust that everything will be all right. Work on yourself. Try to keep your vibration high, because that's our part. We need to do our part as well. That's for everyone important. It's not like we need to sit back and just wait for the white hats, like I've said before, to take care of everything. We need to do our part. So if you can step up, not comply with anything, do your part, see what comes up. There's a lot of energy going on now. We have the full moon in Aries. So we have a lot of, in a way, explosive energy. The ascension symptoms are coming up. So you may feel tired, down, headaches. So it's very important to take care of yourself, and especially because the vibration is raising, certain parts in us that we haven't healed need our attention now. So we need to look at that as well. We need to heal ourselves. The more we heal ourselves, the stronger we'll get, the better we will be at manifesting, because we will be more conscious of our energy. That's really what this is about. There's a lot of things, if I speak for myself, a lot of things I haven't looked at still. I've been looking at a lot of things lately, but there are still some things I need to look at. And they always say they keep the best for last, because those are the things that hurt us the most, or we think that they're going to hurt us the most. So we put them away. So that's energy we won't be able to truly access. But it's manifesting, it's part of ourselves. So all this pain, trauma, hurt is manifesting one way or another. If we become conscious of it, if we can look at it, we can feel these emotions, these pains, these fears that are still with us. If we can manage to connect ourselves with that again, if we manage to feel that, we will transform it. And by transforming, we will become one again. We become like one energy again, which we then can consciously use to manifest. As long as we have all these parts in us, things that we haven't healed, things we haven't looked at, they are manifesting as well. That's why we get in these situations and we're like, wow, this is a similar situation. This is the same energy. Why am I still in this situation? It has to do with energies we haven't looked at, energies we haven't faced at. And it's actually quite simple. It's about feeling and really connecting. Fears need to be felt, and pain really just wants to be felt as well. And we can work with it. You can be very creative, write about it, maybe do some drawing or painting if that feels right to you. You can use music to connect yourself again with your soul and with all those feelings and emotions that are stuck in a certain energy. Like when something happens to you, something very traumatic, and as a child, usually you have no idea how to handle it. You really just put it somewhere in a freezer, but you're still carrying around with you because it's part of your energy. And that's what this time is really about, to connect with ourselves. So I just want to give that message along as well, also for everyone in Australia. My heart goes out to you and everyone everywhere in the world who are in very difficult situation. My heart goes out to you. We have one, the light has one, and it can be very, very tough. The coming period will not be easy, but we will be fine. We will get through this. Trust in yourself, trust in God, and trust in your soul that this is going to be fine. I just want to leave it at that. Bye.